Hello. Today is Thursday, August 8th, 2004. Today, we will discuss what really happened 20 years ago on the Kenzie River in Chicago in 2004. This is a topic that is very difficult for me to talk about. It is traumatic because it has plagued me all the way back to high school. But luckily for me, we do have more details. We do have more information. We don't have lazy people running to get a story out first. We have conjecture. We have possibilities. What you think you know, you do not know. This is an unfortunate thing that this happened to anyone. Looking at your comments, I'm going to tell everyone hi real quick. All right, then we're going to get to it. Nate, Andrew, Jeremy, Daniel, Tracy, Coffee Tits is here. Marcus, another Tracy, two Tracys today. They spelled it the same way. Incredible. Nick Johnson, what's up? I'll try to get it done, Nate. I'm going to try to get it done by 12. It's not going to be possible. So there are a few things that we strive to be better than. Don't be the lazy person when you're making fun of something that you go to the first thing about them. Not the first thing. Find something else. Get to the second level. And also, I don't like the jokes are being made up. You guys know me pretty well. I don't love the JD Vance couch story because it's all fake. So I don't love the easy jokes from it. I'm against it. Everyone do their whole thing. Do what you want to do, right? But it's like when stuff's being made up, I don't like that. Typing in my banner here. The first thing I'll say is I know that many people were affected by this. All right. That wouldn't be the first time you get some very that would be the first time you get a lot of misinformation from that show. Oh, just kidding, all of those guys. Let's start with something that I think is very important in this whole story. If you don't know about the story, we'll get to it, but surely you do by now. I'm wearing this shirt because I like to go to the office every August 8th and someone likes to make a joke to me and then I pin them down and tell them they're wrong. And I'll be doing that today. Like I have every day for the last 20 years of my life because there was not proper vetting on this story. And the band is not fully clean here either. Get to that in a second, though. Diet Coke's better than Coke Zero, by the way. Coke Zero is not very good. Here we go. The first thing I want to say is like the history of the naming of that band, why that is a little problematic, but why it's also kind of not their fault. One thing I would tell you about this band is when they formed, they were playing a bunch of shows. And they formed, I think earliest in 1991. It's really hard to get the full number on it, but I think played 39 shows in 1991, 175 shows in 1992. So 175 out of 365 days. 1993, 190 shows. 1994, the year the first album came out. Then it kind of spread out, and there'd been much just that they played 232 shows. Like that is incredible. Think about any touring band you have. How much are they going? Are they doing 50 shows? Many are not. They're doing 30 stops and they're getting. They were playing 230 shows. This is a band that works their ass off. They built it, and they had a grassroots type of spread, and people were talking about. There's a lot going on to get that big, but it happened so fast. First album came out in 94, and the way it happened so fast is because they were just guys playing. The drummer Carter, the saxophone player Leroy, were classic jazz musicians in that scene in Charlottesville, Virginia. Dave was the bartender at a bar called Miller's, and Dave, was playing music on his own stuff, but he didn't he was just the bartender pouring them drinks and stuff. He watched them play a lot. So they start playing, and he finally gets up the courage to hand the tape over to him. They start listening to the tape. They're like, Jesus, this guy plays some weird guitar stuff. What's going on? Like, okay, we'll see what we do. And then they end up adding Stefan, the bass player. They end up adding Boyd, the violin player. The story goes on. But the point is, they played real fast. When you're playing a bunch of gigs real fast, a lot of these are local gigs up there in Virginia. Well, they were so committed to playing. They didn't know they had a band. Like, they were just kind of jamming out. Okay, yeah, we'll give you 30 minutes at this bar. Okay, we'll give you 45 minutes at this bar. Leroy, the saxophone player, was telling all these places to just put Dave Matthews on there. Now, Dave has said multiple times, and I believe him because he's not a guy who, and I wouldn't say, also, there's some people I think, there are many times I think the Killers would like to be named Brandon Flowers, or Brandon Flowers like the Killers would be named Brandon Flowers. A little different. He's talking about Dave. I think Dave was like, Jesus, I can't believe I'm playing music with these classically trained guys these classically trained guys that I just kind of serve them drinks to. So one place called in, and apparently Boyd did this. He said, put the Dave Matthews Band on the bill. They were not thinking about that. But then it gets too big, too fast, and it's too late to go back. They had even said, many members of the band had already said, it had happened so fast before we could even think about the idea of how that would be problematic for one guy. That's like you take your best 5 friends, they do something shitty. Your best 5 friends, one of them craps his pants aisle 5 at Kroger. Would you want the world knowing that you crapped your pants on aisle 5 at Kroger? Because even though you didn't really do it, people think you did. And that is horseshit. I think we all agree. Just wanted to get that out there. It's a very important part of this story today. It really is. You don't get, if you guys don't believe me, I can pull up so many numbers. I know you do believe me. I was looking at this the other day, though. I saw this. I thought it was interesting, so I'll pop it up. The concert history of bands. All right. Kind of a wild thing to think about. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. Great. Well, that's wonderful. Way to go. Someone deleted it. Well, that was not fun anymore. I had it. Let's see if this one has it. Yeah, they have it right here. Oh, here we go. The concert history of bands. On here, you won't see it, and that's kind of dumb. Pearl Jam's played a ton. They've been around. These are all bands that have been around a long time. But you'll notice who the leader in the clubhouse is by a lot. Over 2,500 shows. Okay, they played 2,000 more shows than Led Zeppelin ever did. They've already played 700 more shows than Van Halen. This band plays. And if you don't like the band, that's all good. I get it. I think they're probably an easy band at times to probably not like. But one thing I really got into is when you're going, you're watching true musicians get after it. And I'm not just sucking up and kissing ass of the band here, but that is something, and that's awesome to me. Whatever they play because they love the music and they're playing music and there's no bullshit behind it. It's not the same show. They've never had the same set list twice. And what's about to be a 35-year history of the band, they've never played the same set list twice. I have not. And I would freak out. But I know you guys think I'm going to be all biased towards the story. What happened is awful. But if you dive a little deeper, like I have, you'll find out that there are a lot of possibilities here. I can tell you from going to many shows, seeing when they leave the stage, they get on a bus, but they're not all on the same bus. They have different buses. Dave Carter and Stefan, who are the original three, of the people that they're touring. I mean, one guy was kicked out of the band, obviously. More on him later. One guy died in 2008. But the three OG members of the band have their own bus. Right? And, they're older now and all that stuff, but it's always kind of been that way. The five members always had their own bus. Let's go to a documentary that was made on, this thing was made a while back, about 4 months ago, maybe. And they talked to a journalist from Chicago. He worked at the Chicago Tribune. His name's Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson, let's get my timestamps up here. Steve Johnson is going to tell you just a little bit right here. We all know what happened. I've been to the Kenzie River. We took a little picture. Me and Rox took a little picture there to commemorate the day because it's been an important part of my life. Oh yeah, share screen. Here we go. Big Harry Steve Johnson will take you here from 7:05 or so to 8:07.
To wash off. And then on August 25th, Mayor Richard Daley held a press conference where he said that videotape showed a bus that could be identified as one of the Dave Matthews Band tour buses. By the way, the Dave Matthews Band drove in 5 tour buses. It was not the Dave Matthews Band bus. It was one of 5.
Okay, first of all, that's Jerry. I know Jerry. Jerry drives Dave. All right. This is Rap. He's the vocal coach for Dave and Justin Timberlake and many others. You're going to hear from Jerry here.
Really honored to work with the Dave Matthews Band. They're incredible musicians. There was an incident of that happening, and I was in Chicago when that happened, but it was not me. I had nothing to do with it at all. Nothing. I was accused of it. The person that did it eventually got found out, got caught, got brought before the court, and was sentenced to some punishment. As he crossed a graded bridge, he flipped a switch that allowed his dump to dump. And, it was a nasty mess. I couldn't imagine being the victim. I couldn't imagine that.
So, yeah, right. Well, Jerry, that's Dave's driver, says, hey, look, wasn't me. And this is where I've kind of been like, yeah, shouldn't, they only different drivers. Boyd Tinsley is the violin player. But there is a point in that where it just said very quickly, and I'll see if I can find it again because I think this is important, right? This is without any more details, and if they could give us more details, I'd love it.
Richard Daley held a press conference.
Does this guy look trustworthy to you? This guy held a press conference. He calls it the Dave Matthews Band, and then that's all we do. We stop asking questions. Keep that in mind for a few minutes later when I expose something else. All right?
Where he said that videotape showed a bus that could be identified as one of the Dave Matthews Band tour buses.
Showed a bus that could be identified as one of the Dave Matthews Band. And then after that, it's over. There's a lot of pressure right now. I want you guys to keep in mind for a minute. Dave, and the band is a very, for lack of a better word, environmentally aware band. You might go, well, why do they have 5 buses? But they do pay money and they do offset their carbon footprint as much as they can. Those words a little bit, sometimes you hear those words and you go, really? But the effort is there, and it always has been. Things before their shows about refillable water bottles and things like that. They've always tried to do stuff like that. Whatever, it's a part of the thing. I mean, he's also on the Farm Aid board with, Willie and Neil Young, supporting farmers. So, like, you have this reputation as an environmentally aware dude and band, but because it was named that before you really even knew the ramifications of that, you have to deal with that. That's fine. No more. Take you a little bit further here. And what you're going to see is a part of this where it is Steve Johnson again discussing a little bit further this story here. Let me share it. Sorry. I'm telling you, I'm about to blow y'all's mind in a minute when you find out that we have other people that might be involved.
Over.
And then, it was just sort of looking around, trying to find the driver, trying to talk to the driver. The best I could do was find a radio interview he had done on the 10-year anniversary with a Wacky Morning Zoo Crew show out of Michigan called Free Beer and Hot Wings. I was able to track down that audio and listen to the interview. I will say that the driver in that interview also offered a second bus theory.
Hello, Stefan.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, buddy.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
I'm doing good.
Take us back, man.
The most important bus, boat, river, feces incident in the history of America.
What a crazy story that was, Stefan.
Most of it not true.
Is that right?
Is it really? But you had to pay that fine, right, Stefan?
No. The band paid it
did.
for me.
Okay.
$10,000. Okay. Though.
Stefan.
Yeah, the band was great. They took good care of me and they helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
So did one of the buses from Dave Matthews drop the feces, but you were misidentified?
Well, I don't think so, to be honest with you. I don't think it was.
Let me just tell you guys, this is not what it looks like at a radio station. Not every host has their own computer and buttons. Terrible. That gets me a little bit. Okay, back to the story.
It was a cover-up
Do you
completely.
think there was a second set of tour buses
Well,
that dropped feces?
I can't say that because I don't know. But what I can say, there was another black bus parked in that lot that day,
Yeah.
and I can't remember now what it was. It had actually some writing on it, and the people said there was
Government
writing
bus.
on the bus.
This is really rocking our world, though. I want you to know that, because for the last 10 years, we've celebrated this day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Glad
like
you-
we have so much more to know.
Glad you turned it around after you gave those people a brown shower.
Yeah. Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah. Well, again, it wasn't me.
Yeah, okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
There
Thanks,
you go.
man.
That's Stefan. He's the guy who dumped all that crap on people.
Yeah.
Maybe by next year he'll admit it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a lot going on here, right? I don't, the guy just denied it, said he didn't do it, right? 10 years after he pled guilty. That's tough. But I would like to now introduce to you a couple of things. This happened on August 8th, 2004. That's why we're here today. We're going to take a quick look at the band's tour dates, just so you guys know what was happening. If you go through that year, Jesus, it looked like they played a good solid, let's see, 2004. This band played 84 shows that year. They're at a point where they could play 84 shows. 2004, we have Alpine. Alpine's up there near where Travis Frederick lives. It's a little southern part of Wisconsin. A lot of times when the band plays at Alpine, they will stay in Chicago because it's driving distance, right? So they played there that night, 8-7. Good one, too. They covered Super Freak. Really, the only really the big controversial thing that happened that weekend is Dave did say during Super Freak that Rick James was a good man. And I don't think we know that. But that's cool, you know. Then you go to the 8th. So 8-7, it happened in between 8-7 and 8-8. So it happened on the day of 8-8. Wikipedia, who we have to use as a source for this because we are missing some details, they claim that the band was staying at the Peninsula Hotel on Superior Street, which makes sense. It makes sense that they would stay in Chicago at Alpine. Even though Alpine is in Wisconsin, it's a little weird. The boat tour was on a boat called Chicago's Little Lady. They were hosting the 1 p.m. tour. Okay, so 1 p.m., heavy traffic. While passing under the bridge, the boat received full contents of the tank on the seats of its open roof terrace. Roughly 2/3 of the 120 passengers, so 80 of the 120 passengers aboard the tour boat were soaked. The boat returned to its dock. All passengers were issued refunds. 5 passengers taken to the hospital for testing. Person with disabilities, elderly, a pregnant woman, small child, and infant. Terrible. This is terrible. You see the details about the liquid waste, which we don't even have to talk about. We know what waste is. But the boat's deck was swabbed by its crew and service was resumed for its scheduled 3 p.m. tour. If you were doused in 800 gallons of doo-doo water, you ain't doing the tour at 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, you're just not. So we already got holes in the story and the initial reporting of the story. 800 gallons. I'll have a little more on this in a minute. We have to see if something else checks out. Now, this is odd sometimes, but people talk. A lot of information you get in the world comes from someone who wants you to be quiet, and they tell you not to talk about it, but a friend of a friend tells someone because they heard it, and it's a little interesting in the moment, and they can't help it. So they say something that they thought was probably confidential information. I take you to a Dave Matthews Band tailgate. This sounds crazy, I know, but I want you guys to listen very closely to this lady. All right? She has a friend who works in the band. I cannot express this enough. By the year 2000, the organization of the band is huge. Hundreds of people. Hundreds. Right? What started as 5 guys in a van going, here to there, they got so big. This is, and they made a lot of money by gigging because gig economy is good. It's a lot of records too, though. Listen to this lady on the left.
A lot of Dave Matthews shows.
Have you seen them in Chicago?
Yeah, I know the truth though. No, I'll tell him. No, you were not. Okay.
What?
That wasn't Dave Matthews' bus. The guy that is my friend worked for the band, and I heard the true story of what happened.
She's really honest person. Yeah.
Cool.
So
No, I
Whose bus was it?
you know whose bus it was. You knew who opened for them. I think it was Lincoln Park. Well, I don't think, I know. It was the band, and the band opened for them, and it was Linkin Park's bus. It wasn't the main guy that I don't remember his name, the lead singer, but it was somebody from that entourage.
Okay. I got thoughts, but let me just tell you, it absolutely could have been Linkin Park, but that's not who opened up for them. The bands that opened up for Dave Matthews that night or in that weekend at Alpine, just so we're clear, and y'all know I'm doing my work here. It's going to be hard to see here. 8/8, that's the day we're on. You see, I'm going to zoom in. Opening act, Jim and Guster. Guster, who's lead singer from Richardson, Texas. Guster, one of my favorite bands. That is who opened up for Dave. All right. So this is just what we know. Now, also, like they used to do this, not just anymore, road crew notes. Like they would leave a little note after each show. Right. So you see all that, and then you go, okay. So she's wrong about who opened for them. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just go ahead and keep the door open for conspiracy, because I did find the concert history of Linkin Park in 2004. Are you ready? August 3rd, Camden, Ohio, August 5th. August 6th, they played a little radio station show in Indiana or at Deer Creek. Boom. Friday night, Tinley Park, Chicago. The Tweeter Center, right there in Chicago. It is possible that it was them. Now, go back to what the guy said. You guys remember the guy, the mayor at the time. We got video footage, and we think, I don't see anything about time checks. I've read articles on this. I've looked for all this stuff too. It's possible. The lady she had a friend who works with men, and I think it's like, you know who opened for him? No, she doesn't know who opened for him. But the Linkin Park thing sticks. And Linkin Park at that time was a band who would have multiple tour buses and not just have one, and not just have the whole band in one bus. Might not have been Chester Bennington's bus, but it could have been Linkin Park, and they don't have to wear any of the poo from this story. Now, while I would love to just say, screw it, it's Linkin Park did it, I'm more responsible than that, and so are the people who did this documentary on YouTube. You can watch the whole 30-minute thing if you like, because I think they had a lot of fun doing it. They got a hold of the bus driver, Stefan Wohl. Now, here's what I want you guys to all know. They investigated this thing, right? Jerry Fitzpatrick, he was identified as the owner of the bus's license plate, but he did not do it. Jerry's kind of the ringleader. I mean, Jerry drove for Aerosmith for all those years. He probably owned the bus, right? A publicist for the band issued a statement saying they had determined that every one of its buses were parked at the time of the incident. A publicist said that. If all the buses were parked at the time of the incident, we would know. Now, they did check the bus's septic tank to prove, and he proved that he could not have emptied his. Now, again, Jerry's the guy who drives Dave. Still does to this day. Jerry's bus was inspected, and the septic tank was nearly full. It had not been dumped. Dave in the clear, and he's had to wear it for 20 effing years. I have exorcised the demons. Also, there was a nearby gym, and they had the videotape from that gym. So that's why they think, and then the Illinois Attorney General got involved, filed a $70,000 lawsuit against Grant Wohl. Wohl, the driver of Boyd Tinsley, the violin player's bus. Wohl did deny dumping the waste. He was supported by the band. It's a family organization here, right? But then on August 25th, the mayor comes out, has the press conference. He shows the videotape used as evidence, even though you can't prove on that videotape that it's their bus. And that's where I kind of end up going, man, how did we get here? How did it get so crazy like that? Because the mayor said that, but I don't recall, in everything I've read about this story over the years, I still do not recall anyone showing us that it is him. Grant Wohl's a good Texas guy too, If he didn't do it, that sucks. If he did do it, he deserves probably worse than what he got for this. But I don't think a band this big, who's got their ducks in a row for the most part, would be dumb enough to dump waste over a river grate at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I just don't. And there's always being a homer. I know. But the mayor comes out, has all those people. It's a big press conference. The mayor claims that he's a fan of the band. He doesn't sound like he's a fan of the band, because I definitely wouldn't have outed him like that without full proof. March 2005, Wohl, who was the driver of the bus for Boyd Tinsley, he pled guilty to reckless conduct and discharging contaminants to cause water pollution. He was sentenced to 150 hours community service, fined $10,000. The band paid that off. Then the band donated a bunch of money to parks and the river and the state and all that stuff. They now keep a log of when their buses empty their septic tanks because of this. No passenger suffered any long-lasting physical health effects. Doesn't mean it's all good. Trust me. I just wanted to say that. The people who did this documentary got a hold of the driver, Grant Wohl. All right. You're going to hear speakerphone situation. Is an ad that's airing right now. Okay. Here's Grant Wohl and his speakerphone situation. His little interview.
Every August, I get 100 phone calls from all over the country. Every August. But you know what? This is your lucky day.
Well, just so you know, there are some loyal fans who are thoroughly convinced that you couldn't possibly be responsible for it.
Yeah. Well, people that know me, they knew the truth. So we only had a 30-gallon tank. Well, if you do the math, there's no way it could have been 800 pounds. And the other thing is, I'm the only bus driver that was using Tide detergent instead of formaldehyde products. I've always used Tide detergent in my tank. And when you dump it, it suds up really big. And when they said there was no formaldehyde in it, he said, I knew it wasn't you. And so, here's what I told the detective. The dumbest guy out there would not have done that on purpose at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 1 o'clock in the morning? Fuck yeah. I'm sure there's guys still doing it at 1 o'clock in the morning because it's a perfect location. You're driving, you can dump, I didn't even know there was water under there. I'd been over that bridge 25 times in my career. Never even noticed there was water. Because I always come in at 1, 2 in the morning. I always tell people I'm a 90% great guy. So, that's the only thing I have is my reputation. And the people that it happened to, I'm sorry for them. I would not want that to happen to me. but it wasn't me who did it, and I got punished for it.
So,
And I mean,
so since it wasn't you, why did you take the charge?
well, the band came to me on September. It was over a month later. We were in San Antonio, whatever date that was in San Antonio that year. We were at the amphitheater out in Selma, Texas, by San Antonio, and they called me into a little office there. I can't tell you exactly what they said because it would maybe set off a firestorm, but basically, I was the clean cut guy, if you catch my drift, out of 15 buses. So that's, they wanted it to go away because Dave being the green guy,
So what do you mean by clean cut?
Me and my wife had to think about it, and I came back for months saying no. And then the detective that called me, I was the only bus driver that would talk to the detective because, I figured, why not? I got nothing to hide, I told him exactly what I did when I killed it.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure. I don't know if I'll answer it, but you can ask.
Is the band Linkin Park in any way involved?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of.
The only other bus that I was told that could have identified as one of the buses that the people said it was, somebody said there was it was a black bus with red writing on it. And the only other bus in town that year at the same time as us was Snoop Dogg's bus. I don't know. That's just what someone told me that they knew, and that when they read that they said that it was a black bus with red writing on it.
Okay. Well, guys, as you know, I've pulled up Snoop Dogg's tour dates for the month of August 2004. Here we go. He played at the Tommy Hilfiger at Jones Beach Theater and in New York on the 2nd, on the 3rd, back to Camden and Philadelphia. It's really New Jersey, but Philadelphia. Ohio, 6th. Oh my God. Also in Chicago on August 7th with an off day on the 8th, meaning would have been a travel day. Hot dog, Snoop Dogg was in Chicago as well. Holy Lord, we've got another candidate. And one band has had to wear this. I'll answer a couple questions. It does sound like hush money. How did they know the weight of the poop dropped? I don't know, but it's always been in all these articles, 800 pounds. That guy said he has a 30-pound bus. I looked up how much does a gallon of water weigh. And we're talking about waste, but how much is a gallon of water? A gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. 8 times 30 is 240. So there's a lot of misinformation somewhere. These dots do not all connect to the point that I think it's safe that we can drop the fact that we blame it on the Dave Matthews Band pooped on the river. If you're one of those people who are doing that, you're irresponsible. You're probably a communist. And I got to be honest. If you like being a dum-dum, that's fine, but you're wrong. Because you don't know. We don't know. And until we do know, it's unfair to pin it on them, which ends up being he. Because I deal with this. People send me shit this day every year. Every year since high school. Why? Because you heard something and you went with it without even looking further into it. And I'm not innocent here. Guilty of things here and there. Trust me. Makes you think a little bit, though, doesn't it? The band wanted this to go away. I think they said, look, if you will just stop, we got to go. And I think a part of this, the band has a reputation of being an environmentally friendly band. They needed that story to go away because the mayor didn't come in and have that press conference with all these people in the videotape till 17 days after it happened. They determined it was shocking that the guy blamed the black bus. I challenge you to go through, find out more, but what you're going to get is lazy reporting from people. You're not going to get people who have taken the time to contact a Chicago Tribune. I mean, the people who did this documentary were trying to find a few answers, and they came up with a few other things. Now, I'm sure we could go find what bands were at what place, on that day, 2004. Like, I get it. I'm not that stupid. I mean, who played in Grant Park that day? Who played at Northerly Island that day? There's all these like United Center. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch. Chicago's a big city, right? But we've got a friend of the band, or a friend who worked for the band, who said Lincoln Park. Like they weren't supposed to say anything about it. And the guy who got charged with doing it said he heard from someone that it was Snoop Dogg. He says it's not him. For all we know, it could have been another member's bus. That's the other thing, is these guys are not responsible for what their bus drivers do. I just wanted to spend some time on this today because I think it's unfair. I think it's messed up. I think it's like when people they go barefooted and they play hacky sack. No, I've never seen hacky sack ever at Dave Matthews Band concert. And Dave's never played barefooted. Like, you have all these things that are like, how did it get there? It got there because people got lazy with their jokes. Get to the second, third, fourth, fifth layer. This base level stuff is terrible. Mark Maron. Let's play band. We'll get out of here. It's a tough day for me, man. And people should know I'm on edge on this day. 2007 is the year. 2017. It's not cake, Andrew. That's not how relationships work. I don't know anything about what that is. Is this some form of like an Ed Sheeran? Ed Sheeran? I don't know. I don't know any songs. Oh, not the right song, but I have the right artist. He's punishing me by playing one of my least favorite artists on the same day of this. For my butt. Okay, so we know it's Ed Sheeran. Let's type it in. I think it's perfect. Yep, got it in 3. Good job. We're running late, so we're just gonna hurry here, as I gotta get moving too on my day. I get trouble. Album covers. Let's go. Let's go. Maroon 5, Sugar. No. V. Nope. All right. Throw out your guest. Throw out your guesses. Not your guest. Your guesses. Looks like a guy who's looking down. Yeah, Lincoln Park. That's a good one. Why not? Sure. Okay, it's one guy looking up. You know, I'm starting to think, is that Johnny Marr? No. DJ Truck Nuts Greatest Hits. Let's see this Smiths. No, it's not. Meat is Murder, but just having a little fun. 3 to go. I don't know. Oh yeah, Peter Gabriel. Nope. Daniel Bedingfield. Who? Fine. I know Natasha Bedingfield. Let's get this movie poster. Let's get out of here. Get the request in now, guys. Movie poster. Clearly the Big Lebowski, which we always search first. I don't know. I don't know. Any guesses, anybody? No. Tiptoes? Yeah, see if they have tiptoes. No, they don't have tiptoes. I'll type in A Beautiful Mind just because. I don't know. Guess. Star Wars Episode 3. How about that? It's gotten so easy. We did it. I went so late on my passion project today that I don't have time. Okay, what are my song requests today? Or bit request or anything? Any bit request? What do you have? You know what? I'm choosing to play something. This is a clip that I'm only playing because I think this is funny, and I saved it. It's a shocking name. Just know that the shocking name on my on the clip here. The clip is, y'all see what it's titled.
So what is he named after? A Pussy Boyle or something?
Pussy Boyle.
Her.
That's what they used to call me growing up.
Pussy boiled.
I said you're a wimp. Oh, they were calling me something else, I guess.
Guys, The Empire Strike Back hit theaters on this day in 1980.
Guys, I had a joke stroke there because I was trying to make the joke that they called me a pussy boy. So one more time. That's what they used to call me growing up.
Pussy boiled.
I said you're a wimp. Oh, they were calling me something else, I guess.
Guys, The Empire Strike Back hit theaters on this day in 1980.
You can hear it because what happened, I was having such a problem getting out of that joke that I started going. Like it takes my body that when I have a stroke, I start going a certain way. It's terrible. But that's what happened. That's a live example of a joke stroke for you and especially for Daniel. And you know what? Heard myself issue a great line like that makes me want to play another song. So what you guys want? You guys want something? I got it for you. I might find something here though. If I see it, I'll play it. Funny. I'm looking at all my stories here. Let's see here. I'm trying to find. So you'll hang with me. I'm trying to find a good clip that I have without going to my other computer for it. So it's like, what do I have on this one? What is that? The mopped up ass storm? No, it's just the drop. It's not the song. It's not the song. What do I do? That was wild. Do 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 do. Pianist. Oh, how about the Freaky Friday Florida fist fight theme song? You guys remember that one? Get Strip Mall Steve in the house. You guys probably remember this one. I think I'll play that. If we're not going to play. Oh, Live Golf bought the PGA is a good one. I am looking for a song to play. You know what? Freaky Friday, Florida fist fight. This will get you ready for tomorrow, which is Friday.
Oh, Freaky Friday, Florida.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, Freaky Friday, Florida, fist fight. Gonna get all freaky up in your.
For all theme songs that are 21.6 seconds long, that's up there. That's up there. And it's got the great sound.
Oh!
I mean, who starts it with oh? Oh God, who would think to do that? You're not the only one, Manny. It is classic.
Oh, freaky!
And then I like after about 15 seconds, it's like, man, we got to find a good way to end it.
Get all freaky up in your.
You know, let's just add a 6-second fart.
Oh, freaky Friday.
Okay, that's enough.
Florida.
That's enough. Radio 3 to 6. Probably gonna not do one tomorrow. I got some stuff I gotta do during the day. I know that sounds very vague. If I get excited, I will. So maybe a nooner tomorrow, but likely not. Just what it is. Like, follow, subscribe to the thing. The new One Star Cowboys podcast dropped today as well. Episode 2 of that. The One Star Cowboys podcast. Check that out if you would like to. Yeah, Radio 36 and follow the podcast thing if you want, the YouTube channel. And if you see, well, I mean, tell people about this. If this moved you, this episode today moved you, you know, if it's made you think differently about things, then let me know. Tell some other people. I mean, yeah, it's good. No, like what you're saying about the August 8th Dave Matthews thing that you just said in passing, that's fine. That's a fine thing that you just said. But hear me out for a minute. You know, just tell them. Hit them with what you know now, because you know a little bit more than you did. I don't want to go to work. I don't. Not today. Thank you all. Love you. Bye.